Hello and welcome to Craft and Chat. It is Tuesday, the 15th of April. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're here watching live, can you do me a sound and light check, please? And if you're watching the replay, thank you very much. So, how have you all been whilst it's been like a couple of weeks, hasn't it? So how have you been? We've been really busy. So I visited my mum up on the Lincolnshire coast. We've had family here last weekend. Yeah, busy time. So let's just double check that I'm live everywhere I should be. It's always good to double check. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, we're good. Hooray! So, yeah, do let me know where you are joining from and how you are doing. So, today I have all new stuff to show you. So I'm going to be crafting with some new stamps, and I have 3 bundles to share with you today of new products that are going to be the focus of my May and June craft togethers. So I'm just going to sort of explain what they are, and then I'm going to get round to the sharing. So Lorraine, hello, Scylla and Ali, saying hello to everyone. It's got really cold here again today. Is it cold anywhere else? Is it just me? Yeah, I'm kind of clutching my cup of tea. We've had days and days and days of sunshine. It's been glorious. The garden's desperate for rain, but no rain. I think we did have rain last night though, because the driveway was wet this morning. But certainly not enough to make any difference to the rain gauge. So clearly it was only a sprinkle. But we haven't got. Yeah, it's just really chilly. Oh, it's chilly at where Ali is as well. So yeah, maybe it's just chilly across the UK. So where are we at? So we've got the new catalogue coming. Now the new catalogue doesn't go live until the 6th of May, which is 3 weeks today. And as well as the new catalogue going live, we've also got some new online exclusives. Now I'm trying to get everybody to I want to change the name. I want to call the products exclusively online, because that makes more sense in my brain. So I want so there are products that are only in the store, they're not in the catalogue. But seriously, you need to check them out. They are amazing. So some of the products I'm going to show you today are from the catalogue. Some are from the online exclusives. And without actually double checking, I can't tell you which one is which. But the important thing to know is the products I'm going to, the first 2 sets of products I'm going to show you are going to form the basis of the May and June craft togethers. Now, craft together is a new class. I say it's new, it's reinvented craft along. So I've been running Craftalong for a number of years, and basically, with the new rewards program and the way that everything is working, we have moved now to a new class called Craft Together. So included in the Craft Together class, you've got a couple of options. You can either have a kit posted to you, which includes patterned papers, cardstock, envelopes, embellishments, ribbons, and all of the punched or die cut pieces that you will need to make the projects. You provide your stamps and ink. Obviously trimmer and glue, that kind of stuff as well. Or you can choose to have the PDF only version, which means that you come along, you don't get a kit provided, but you can come along to the class, which is live on YouTube. It's usually a Tuesday evening towards the end of the month. And there's a replay, there are cutting lists, there is a PDF with the links in it, and all of the measurements and everything that you'll need. So the UK prices for that, the kit is £23.50, and I don't know how much the PDF is. Not off the top of my head. So I'm just going to look. There we go. Da, da, da. Classes and events. I'm just going to my blog. It is £23.50 for the kit, or £12 for the online class and a PDF. So you can do either of them. My team of Stampin' Up demonstrators actually get Craft Together for a discounted rate, which is for the kit, which is £20. And my direct team, so demonstrators who are joined to me directly, can also take the class for free. So they don't get a kit posted, but they get the live class and the PDF. So it's a great class. It's like having a surprise class in the post. So you never know what we're going to do. Sometimes we do lots of fun fold cards. Sometimes we do a stack of cards. Sometimes there are 3D projects. It is mainly focused on cards, though. And because sort of surveying everybody, that was the thing that they preferred to do. So, for instance, last month, we made a 5x7 waterfall card as one of the projects. And, you know, I love doing this. I love bringing back cards and fun folds that we haven't seen for ages. Some of my customers were saying they haven't seen a waterfall card in like 10 years. And they're so cool. So we do all sorts of different things, fancy folds, different ways of folding and moving cards, all sorts of things. So do join us. So the new Craft Together starts. The first one is in May, and I'm going to show you the papers for that. And then it's every month after that. I have also added in another class, which is called Craft with Amanda. And that class is an exclusive class for everyone who places an order with me in my online store during the previous month. So the first one is at the end of May for orders that are placed in April. So it's like an automatic registration. So there is nothing that you need to do once you've placed your order, so long as you've selected me as your demonstrator, of course. Then I will give you the information about that class. So who else has joined? Donna from Oz, hello, and Margaret, cold in Oxfordshire. Yes, chilly today, Margaret, isn't it? Oh, Ali's saying that there was a weather warning for torrential rain in Bristol, but it hasn't materialised. The ground's desperate for rain, isn't it? Okay, so before we get started with the new stuff, I want to talk to you about the rewards program. It went live last week. Hi, Kathy Jean. Good to see you. Alberta, Canada is in the house. So the rewards program went live for Europe last weekend. It went live for South Pacific a couple of weeks ago. And North America are just in the throes of it. It's just happening now. So depending on where you are in the world, this may have already happened or is about to happen. But what I want to talk to you about is to make sure you get registered for the rewards. I've already had a customer who's checked out as a guest and lost out on £8 worth of rewards. Now, that makes me sad. And I'm sure it makes them sad too. So it's really important that you have an account and that you register for rewards. So the first thing that I am going to do is show you a PDF. No, that one. Okay. So the first time you log in to the Stampin' Up website after, so the first time you log in, you will get this pop-up. Now, some of you will have pop-ups blocked. I know that. Some of you will be using a phone or a tablet and you might not actually see it. But if you see it, you want to click get started and you want to opt in. Okay, so that's the first thing to say. If you see that, then the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes. So that is the first thing. Now, the next thing, let's remove that. Let's add this. So I am just going to do that. Okay, so this is the Stampin' Up website. So if by any chance you have already logged in, or when you log in, the rewards pop-up thing doesn't pop up, you need to register. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go there. So the first thing you have to do is sign in. Okay, so bear with me just a second. Let me just switch this around. So I'm just logging in. She says famous last words. Okay. So that should, yes. Okay, so I'm in. So it says you can see at the very top, it says hello, Amanda. So in the top right hand corner, it says hello, Amanda. And then underneath the hello, Amanda, you've got the search bar, a little present, a heart, and the shopping cart. So if you click on the present, it tells you that this is where you can earn 10% back on rewards. So click learn more, and it gives you all of the information about the rewards. And then it says, view my rewards. Well, I can't view them because I haven't registered yet. And then it says, not a Stampin' Rewards member yet, get started. So if you click on that, you then have this screen, which is my rewards, and you need to click the read the terms and conditions and click it, and then join. Now, I am not going to do that right now on this particular account. This is like my testing account. The reason I don't want to do it is because I'm going to film another video that I'm just going to be sending out to my customers later, just so that they've got a really short video instead of today's. So the other way of getting to this point is go click on your name and go to account settings, and then you can scroll down to rewards. Now, should it say find a demonstrator at the top left-hand side next to the map, yeah, then you need to select a demonstrator. So you want to shop with me. Okay, so I'm going to make me the preferred demonstrator, and the green pink label there. So that is good. Okay, so we can just go back to shopping and just do that. Okay, so you can see all of the items there. Okay, so any questions? Hi, Judith. Hi, Anne. Let me know. I'm just going to remove that and bring me back. Okay, so please go and register for rewards, even if you're not shopping. Okay, even if you're not shopping today or next or this week, do it so you don't forget. Because I don't want to have to send another email out, as I did yesterday, to say I'm really sorry, but the system hasn't allocated you rewards because you checked out as a guest. So you need an account, because they need somewhere to put the rewards. Okay, so let's just stop that camera and move this bit, and switch the camera to that one, start it. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. So let's start. So this is some of the products that we're going to be using for the May craft together. So this is the May class. You can book your spot now. It is open, and it is called Cheers and Sips. So let me I'll start with the stamps and the dies, then I'll come back to the papers because I will explain. So there is an embossing folder, and this is like ice cubes and glass, and you've got this beautiful floral here. These are the narrow embossing folders, so they work with the mini cut and emboss mini. You've then got this lovely glasses set with lots of cocktail things that you can add to your drink with lavender and rosemary and mint leaves and berries and all sorts of things. It's a photopolymer set. And then, actually, I haven't opened this up yet, so let me just open this. And then these are the dies. So the dies predominantly cut out these images, but there is also this, which is like a textured, I don't know whether you can see, it's sort of a textured emboss. It sort of cuts and kind of embosses, and it makes a beautiful infill for the glass. So that's the embossing and the stamps and the dies, but it's the papers that I'm super excited about, because you may love this kind of look with sangria and bottles of wine and cocktails and things, but you might not. So when we do the class, you will be able to either work with the beverages or with the reverse. So I'll show you. So this polka dot is the reverse of those glasses. You've then got these amazing florals with a green. So that's Old Olive. These work really well as your glasses. But again, it's an abstract watercolor page. So that's beautiful for all sorts of things. And you've got a paper design that is very similar to that embossing folder design. You've got some larger glasses here, and these work really well just to cut out for that lemonade. But again, you've got a floral if you don't want to use the glasses. You've then got, I love this. This is such a pretty design, beautifully watercolored. And then on the reverse, you've got spots. And then finally, you have got another floral and a stripe. So as I said, it works perfectly if you want to focus on beverages. But if you don't, there are lots of other images and florals to work with. So as I said, I am really excited about this one. And I again, look, how cool is that? So that is going to be the papers that are included in the May craft together. So that's one set of new things to show you. Then we have this, which is probably my favorite suite coming out. It got a double bundle, so it's got 2 sets of stamps and dies and amazing papers. Now, let me just show you these. These are called pressed flower motifs, which kind of the name completely confused me. But they're kind of like the center of a flower, but these are so heavy. So if you use these, just check the weight of your envelope, of your postage, because honestly, they are the heaviest embellishments I think I've picked up in a long time. So be aware if you're going to use those. So let me show you the stamps and the dies. So we'll start with this one. So this is Gallery Blooms, and you know I'm a sucker for hand-drawn images. Well, this is just beautiful. And the images themselves, these are at 90%, so they are actually bigger. So you have, I'm just going to tip a few bits out. So you have dies that cut out the stamped images, but you've also got additional leaves and sort of florals as well to add in. So that's really cool. And it's called Gallery Blooms because of this. So this is a double die. So it actually cuts out 2 frames. It is a really beautiful. So that's one of the stamp sets or one of the bundles. You've then got this one, which is Beautiful Motifs, which is a really nice kind of backgroundy set. Got some nice sentiments and some nice squiggles and sort of a floral background. And then the dies are super special. So you've got a couple of dies that cut out images, and then the others partially cut. So I am going to be doing some videos on how all of these work, but these partially cut. So it gives you, again, a different effect and a different texture on your cards. So that's those. And then the awesomeness is the papers. So the papers are 6x6. And you could just frame that. That's it. Just and these are all painted by our in-house artists. So, you know, this is original artwork. So I'll just show you them. I'll kind of tip them over. So the reverse. So for most of these, you've got like artwork on the front or on one side, and then quite often you've got a background paper that's much more subtle. So you've got this one, you've got a map on the back of that. Again, it's just a sketch. And this reminds me of like an old-fashioned wallpaper. So you've got scenes as well, and more subtle backgrounds. So you've got some painted elements. Look, how cool is that one? I want to frame so many of these. This is actually my favorite of all the backgrounds. Obviously it's blue, but it's just really beautiful. You've got another botanical and a painted element, more floral, like an old-fashioned fabric. Some sort of climbing plants. Oh, what's the reverse of that one? Watercolor wash and sort of a sketched wash and a scene. So these papers are going to be forming the basis of the June craft together. So the first papers are for May and this one is for June. Okay, so there's some sneak peeks. Hi, Mum. Pauline's here. Mum to me, Pauline to everyone else. Is it chilly? We've just been talking about how chilly it is. It's cold here. Okay, so this. Oh, Lorraine was saying that some of the reverse of the papers from Gallery Blooms are like William Morris. Yes, thank you, Lorraine. Do you know what I was trying? It's amazing how our brains work, because I was trying to think of who the designer was that it reminded me of. So Mum's put the heating on. Yeah, I am actually thinking about putting the fire on. the wood burner on. So we'll see. We'll see whether it warms up later. Okay, so this is yet another sneak peek. Okay, so this is called Impressions Abloom, and I'm going to be using just the stamps today, but there is a die set that goes with this, which I'll show you at a different day. But this is two-step stamping, so you've got like the base of the flower and then the detail and then the centers of the flowers and the leaves and things. It's really beautiful. I'm going to show you the papers. I haven't yet decided when we're going to be using these papers. I've only done my planning out to the end of June. So we will see. So the papers are called Floral Impressions. So you've got these leaves and tiny circles. I think this one's my favorite. They look like sunflowers, but they're not. They're I want to say rudbeckias. Any of my botanists here know exactly what they are? because you know I do make up names. You've got pink with Calypso coral on the back. Love this paper. That's got fresh freesia on the back. And then look at that. How cool is that rainbow paper? You just, again, I don't know why you wouldn't frame that. It's just really cool. And it's got the yellow on the back. And then we've got, yeah, that's the other set. So these papers are amazing. I'm not actually going to be using them today, but you need to see them. Papers are awesome. So look at that again. So shall we do some stamping? Hi, Suzanne. Honestly, I have so many ink pads here. So I'm going to be doing some pink and purples. And some yellows. No blue. I must be sick. Right. So so let's start with this. Now, I'm just going to fold this over. Now, this is a photopolymer set. So please use your Stampin' mat. You will always get the best impression. You just tear this actually, because I only want one layer. Stampin' Chamois, which basically just it's just water, so it just makes it so easy to clean your stamps. So we're going to start with the green and the yellow. So what have I got? I've got Old Olive. I have got the new color, which is called Darling Duckling. Oh, I want to talk about that. And Lemon Lolly. Okay, so this is a brand new ink pad. Okay, I haven't even stamped with it yet. Brand new. And can you see, it looks like there are fingerprints on my stamp, on my ink pad. They are fingerprints. So when these ink pads are made, and they're made and assembled in our factory in the US in Utah, what the staff do, let me just pull this open. What they do is they have the components. So these two are separate components. So they put the components together, and then the foam has the ink on it already. And I've talked about this before because it completely blew my mind when I saw it. So I've actually been to the factory, and what they do is they get like ladles full of the ink, and they put them into, the best way I can describe it is like a Kenwood mixer. So they put it into like a mixing machine with basically brand new, obviously, pieces of foam cut to size, and they mix it. So basically what happens then is all these pieces of foam tumble around and get covered in ink. And when they've done it for however long, I don't know how long, but however long it needs to be, they empty them out into basically a big Tupperware box. And then they just stack them up. So when they come to assemble it, they have this part of the unit and they put a squiggle of glue in it. And then with gloves, obviously, because otherwise their hands would be permanently stained, they pick up one of the foam pieces and put it into the lid. And then they use their fingers and press it down. So those are actual fingerprints from the person that made my stamp pad. How cool is that? You can get rid of them. Just run the back of a spoon over it and just smooth it out. But it makes me smile to know that a real person made that. So let me show you these stamps. So there are 3 different sized flowers. Now, normally when we stamp this kind of flower, we stamp the kind of infill and then the outline. On this stamp set, you want to do it in reverse. I've been playing with it quite a lot, and it's much easier to stamp this piece first and then match that one up. And the flowers aren't symmetrical, so you can match them up quite easily. Now, if you have problems matching them up, I've got a few tips for you. The first is, if like me, you have varifocals, try standing up and looking over the top and looking like straight down instead of, hang on. So you want to look, you want to look kind of straight down. If you're sat, you might be looking at an angle, and depending on where where the image sits on your glasses might mean it's slightly wonky. So I'm going to stamp that one. I'm just going to show you. So that's the background. And then I'm going to stamp that one over the top like that. So you can get it lined up perfectly. Now I can see that this, because it's a brand new stamp pad, is really juicy. So this is how I fix it. I don't want you to all cry. Look. I'm taking some of the ink off so that it's not quite as juicy. What you can do, there we go, look at that. That's a much crisper image. What you can do, if you don't want to waste your ink like that, is actually just push it to one side. Okay, so with this flower, you've got, hang on, it's easier for me to show you here. This flower, you've got 3 petals joined together there. Nowhere else is there 3. So if you look for the 3 together and line it up with that 3, it will work. With this flower, you've got this one that's off out on its own and it's longer than anything else. That's the same one, longer than anything else. And this one, I don't have any tips for. I just wing it. So there's that. Okay. So what you can also do is use the same colour, which I may yet do. So use, this is the Darling Duckling, use the colour for the first layer, stamp it off, find my 3 again, and stamp it down. There we go. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Use that. Okay, so that's that one and the big one, and let's just do this one, and we'll do this one in stamped and then stamped off. So that's it's really bright, actually. You're not going to be able to see that. So that one there is the long one. That is there, like that. Yeah, I'm going to use the Darling Duckling. We need the contrast on the screen. Okay, so what have I got? I've got a piece of old olive. This is lemon lolly. I've got some, this is distressed tile, I think it's called. And I am just going to trim that down. So, let's trim everything down first, and then we will figure out what we're doing. So, I'm going to have that. And Suzanne's saying pink and purple are her favourite colours. Okay. So let's just make it smaller. Just going to have an offset piece. Okay. So that is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. So I want 2 inches by 3 1/4. That's my matte layer. So we need sentiment. So let's just pull that off. And the cards that I send most of are happy birthday and thank you. So I'm going to pop thanks down there at the bottom, and then I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to put all of the lovely yellow flowers down. So I'm going to do that one. that one. That one. Okay. So let's find the infills. We'll stamp that off. Stamp it off. Find my 3. Stamp that down. And this one, like I said, I haven't, it kind of, I just turn this one around. I haven't come up with a perfect layering yet. And then we do want to put in the centers. So there are 2 different sorts of centers. So you've got this one, which is sort of got texture, and then the solid one. I just tend to use these ones. And that works quite well, as you can see. So the smaller one is for the 2 smaller flowers, and then the bigger one is for that larger flower. And if, like I've just done, you miss, you can just re-stamp it. And then I am going to add in the leaf. Now, again, the leaves, you've got this one, which has already got texture, and this one. So I'm actually just going to use this textured one. I'm going to stamp it off. Oh, maybe not, actually. That might be too light. Oh, no, that will be fine. Stamp it off. Do you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm looking at this and going, I don't think I do. I don't think I want to put the leaves on. Just going to mat it like that, and then use some of those really heavy dots. So let's see. Just to add a little bit of texture there. I'm offsetting this. So often with our mats and layers, everything goes all in a line, doesn't it? And we just pop it down. So we've got an even border all the way around. And actually, sometimes it's nice to offset things. So let's just pull that off. Oh. There we go. And let's get some of these dots. So there's 2 different sizes. So I'm just going to use the little ones. Just gives, although there is texture here, there's texture with the embossing folder. Just the additional bit of that will just add in a little bit of texture. And obviously you could use rhinestones or all sorts of different things, but it just gives you a different variation. But I will show you another one that I have made, which is this one. So this one is the full flowers, whereas I've got partial flowers here, and I've added in leaves and so on. So it will work both ways, but I just wanted a bit more texture with that one. Okay, so that's one card, and then I'm going to move on to the pinks and purples. So I'm just going to close up these ink pads because you know what's going to happen. I'll leave that there for now. I'll stick my finger in it and it'll be a mess. Just clean all the stamps. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Donna. Okay. So we've got Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather, and I've actually got Strawberry Slush. Now this is another new colour, although it's actually not that new because it's a returning colour. So it was an in colour before and it is back. So what we are going to do is trim this down. And I will show you. I think my trimmer blade needs replacing. This is fluffy. I will sort that out before I do my next live. Okay, so I've trimmed this down so there is a much bigger gap, and you're going to see why in a minute because I'm actually going to cut this, but we're going to stamp on it in this format. And what I'm actually going to do is put some flowers in first and then put in the stems. So let's start with Fresh Freesia. And Fresh Freesia again. I'm stamping off. And you'll be able to see how amazing these flowers look in all the different sort of shades. It's really pretty. And then let's just add in that. There we go. So that's Fresh Freesia. I'm going to have Highland Heather. So I'm going to put Highland Heather there. So again, I'm looking for the 3 petals that are all joined together, and then all the other ones will work really well. And there we go. That's the Highland Heather. And then I'm going to do one of the smaller flowers in Strawberry Slush. So I'm going to put that one there. And I'm going to put one up here as well. There's my sort of real pops of colour. I'm going to stamp it off. There we go. Oh, that's better. And then again, stamp it off. Okay. So then we are going to go with the old olive and the stems. So what I'm actually going to do is build up the stem. I want it to come all the way down. We're going to be adding in some leaves in a second. There we go. So I've got the leaf stamp. There we go. That's pretty cool. And what we are going to do now, let me move those out of the way, is we're going to cut this. What we're going to do is cut it into 4, and we're going to cut it on a diagonal vertically and a diagonal horizontally. So play around with it. It's going to kind of depend on where your flowers are, because the effect is to actually separate things out. So you want to be able to be going through, directly through the lines. So I'm just looking at this and thinking, I'm just going to add in a little bit of strawberry slush on these two at the center and a little bit of purple on these centers. Let me just do that. So just swap those over. So let's put that one back. Okay, so I want a little bit of fresh freesia. I'm going to stamp it off. And again. Can you see? That's just a tiny pop, but it's just made a difference just to lift that center. So let's do the same with the strawberry slush. Stamp that off. So basically the ink has only sort of picked up underneath the dots, but it's just toned everything down. Okay, it's better. So let's trim this. So the first thing, I'm going to do the vertical cut. So I'm going to cut from here, sort of pretty much straight through that flower. And then I'm going to cut left to right. So let's just lift that up and turn it. around, and we're going to cut that way as well. So it's going to end up as 4 sort of puzzle pieces. Whilst, actually, I've got that. Yeah, I can stamp that as well. So I'm just thinking about, I need my sentiment to be stamped. So let me just do that as well. I haven't decided where I'm going to put it yet. We'll just leave it to one side and we'll figure it out. So this is going on to the Highland Heather layer, and we're going to leave a little gap all the way around, like so. So I'm actually going to pull that down a little bit. Pull that down like so. So you've got an equal distance border, I guess, all the way around. So as we're going to stick it down, I'm actually looking at this and I'm just going to make that Highland Heather a tiny bit smaller. I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off. Just to make the border a tiny bit smaller. I want you to be able to see it, but I don't. I want to make sure I want you to be able to see the different colour, but equally I don't want it to be too broken. There we go, that's better. Okay, so let's just layer this up. And can you see I've got ink on? There's a little ink splot there. Typical. Happens all the time. But that's okay, because I think the sentiment's going to go there. So it will be all right. There we go. Just keep making sure that your border is equal. And then the last one. And I think I'm going to put that happy birthday just there. Oh. There we go, and then layer it on top of the Fresh Freesia card. There you go. So you've basically split your card. I will be putting some little butterflies on this before I take a photo of it, because it's got a smudge. Obviously, you can have your layer bigger if you want to have more of a bigger gap, but I like it with just a tiny bit of colour showing. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed the sneak peeks and the new products. Obviously, the products that I've been sharing today, none of them are actually available until the 6th of May. So it's 3 weeks, 3 weeks from now. If you are one of my customers and you've registered for a catalogue, they will be going out the week after Easter, so that they'll be with you in plenty of time for the catalogue launch. Now, I am going to be off on my travels for a little bit, so there won't be a craft and chat for a few weeks. I will make sure that there is a holding page so that you know when the next one's going to be. But I will have a lot of videos coming up over the next few weeks as well, and lots of blog posts as well. So if you are not on my mailing list already, if you pop over to inspiringinkin.com and register there to get my email newsletters. You'll also get videos and inspiration, tutorials, special offers, all kinds of things. So register there, and then you will get all of the updates. So I will see you all very soon. So take care of yourselves, and I'll be back soon with some more creative inspiration. Goodbye.